So it's Wedgwood Blue, and we are going to deepen some of our shading before we finish our, start working on our details. Because, once again, we want this little bit of shading to stay in the background. So with my little brush, my little 3/8 angular shader, which you'll notice I've used for just pretty much everything in here, we're going to take our paint, and we're just going to go mostly into the corners. And just like almost like little washy floats. Taper them off. And I'm working in the areas where mostly I wanted to deepen. So like around the scarf. And when I pick up my paint, I tend to keep it very watery. So I'm actually working in this little wash section. That is how I managed to get such soft floats when I don't want really harsh color. I'm going to start moving my piece around to be bothersome again. And come up in here. And the nice thing is when I've done this, if I need to repair any of my base coating, I still can, because I haven't put my details on yet. And see, it just adds that little extra bit of depth. Very watery wash floats. And I bounce around. I'm going to come down here, my tree. Sometimes it starts off a little bit darker, but when I mop it, it softens. See? And I'm primarily just looking for places that I want to enhance. Not going to go 100% around everything, because then it will become too dark. And that is why when you come to the end, we're actually going to dry brush a little bit more warm white when we're done, because some of these spots may have, like this, may have a little bit of a washy line. We can make those go away. And we might as well go around here. Round the knot a little bit. All right. Looks almost frightful, doesn't it? But it's awesome. When we do some dry brush, we're going to clean them up later, but right now, it's all about working on getting our other floats in. So we've done the Wedgwood Blue. So what we're going to do is, since Wedgwood Blue is out, is we're going to shade our blue, our little blue house. since we've already got that color out. Load our brush the same as before. And once again, we're working along the same way we do with the base coatings. We work with the color, we do everything that coordinates with it. So the house, and because this is snow, I don't care. I'm going to go down the left side of the house. In this particular case, I basically have kept everything to the right for my highlights. Actually, everything sort of goes towards the middle. But in this case, I'm pretending there's a big sunshine moon way over off camera here somewhere. Way off camera. Let's see. Oh, these little bits under here. I've shaded the left side of each little square. Then I'm going to shade in behind here. I'm going to move them upside down again. I'm going to shade under here. That's the back of the quilt. And the shading, mopping it out, just softens everything up. Let's see what else needs. And I am moving around because I don't want to go over my floats, right? Finish the house off. We need to go angle him a little bit. The house also. The bottom. And under there, he's going to go under the roof. So off we go. Upside down again. There. Probably spend more time trying to find the camera. There. So we shaded the blue. Now we're going to shade the pink, the coral blush, and we're going to shade that one actually with country red for the roof. Mauve. Left side of each of the quilt panels. There, little mop. Very softly mopping. And do the bird. Bottom of the bird. There's a big C stroke on the bottom of the bird's body. Okay. And down here. Okay, let's see, that's all there is for red. So then, just give it a second to dry. And I'm going to go along the bottom of the red house. Yeah. So that's the red. And now we're going to get out our evergreen and we're going to shade our trees. This basic base coat shade and highlight is all the other stuff that I do. That's what's going to give life to this guy. So once again, keeping all my floats to the left. Start up in the point. Where's my trees? There we are. Start up in the point here. Down the left side of my tree. Mop it. So I think you're noticing as you're watching me shade my piece, what you're finding is the reason I can get away with a 3/8 angular shader is because I do my floats basically as washes almost. So it allows me to get wider floats. I don't even know how that came about, really. I think I have a delicate touch. So we shade the left. Now we're going to go and do our little quilt panels. This guy in here. That one. Okay. When they dry, so you should be able to come along and do the bottoms. Should always dry, otherwise you lift it off. Which is not the worst thing that could happen. You just wait for it to dry and you can fix it. And this is only the first of 2 floats. Okay, so that is the green. Now we're going to go into purple and we're going to do his hat. And with purple, we are going to use royal purple and an old standby. This is a very common color palette for me, so you'll see these colors used quite commonly. And let's put his little face, his little hat down here in the camera so we can work on that. I changed my painting studio around, and finding the place to put my camera was not an easy thing to do. So I have it, otherwise I'm upside down like last year, and I didn't really want to paint upside down like last year's. Okay, so the royal purple, we're going to shade his hat. So we're going to start up in here. Shade as an also C stroke. Mop. And let's see. He does go under here. This one is actually, we're just going to wash under here. This is under his hat. It's the inside of his hat. So we're going to float one side. We're going to let this dry. Then we're going to go and float the other side. And we're just basically going to do a wash to fill it in. Here. He's got wrinkles in it. It's his toque. With his wrinkles. Go along the top. Mop, mop and soften, mop and soften. But see how light my floats are? That's why I do everything twice. If you get really dark floats, you could probably get away with, in some cases, not all cases, but you could almost get away with those as your finished floats. If you're really dark. And we've got a wrinkle going on up here in his hat. So we're going to come along. There. Mop. And while I let that dry, I'm actually, because I want all these to dry before I go back, we're going to come around and we're going to work on his knot. Give him a little round knot. You ever have your mop in your hand, pick it up, put it down, it's gone? No, that's it. Okay. And I shaded along the inside, the inner part here of his little ties, his toque ties. There. Float. And let's see, put it. Go in here. This is dry now, so I want to come up here since he's facing that way. Go inside his little toque. It's in part of his hat. should be darker. Okay, where am I? There I am. And then here, on the inside. There. Bottom of this little knot. In the picture, you'll see that I don't have a knot. I just have a jewel there. That's your option. If you don't do a knot, I don't know why the knot did not end up in my original. It just didn't. I think I just forgot to put it there. Who knows? But anyway, it's there now. So we are going to go back up here to his hat. So we're going to come along and do this part. Around here. Do our mop. The reason it mops so soft is because of the easy float in my water. It does give me just that little extra play time. It'll be very quick though. Once again, like I said, we keep all our shading over to the left. So we're going to do the left side up here of his hat. So he's got little wrinkles going on in his hat now. All those little wrinkles. So now we're going to scooch down. We're going to throw our purple, royal purple shading on the quilt. There. There, there. Cool. So that's it for the purple. And since I'm at it, since I am shading, I'm going to go back into my country red. And I'm actually just going to do my chimney. A little float in the chimney, right there. A little float in the chimney. Look around, make sure that you've got all your colors, which I now have done. So now I'm going to go into my mustard seed and I'm going to do my yellow shading. Get that done. You notice I start, but I just use all my values when I do my shading. Mustard seed on the quilt, on the quilt, and the star, we're keeping all the shading to the left side. Same as his moon, the outside of the moon. Yeah. Everything else is details. So we're going to let that dry. And then we're going to start more dry brushing and highlights. Okay, now that all our shading's finished, we're going to go through now. We're actually going to flip our piece over and we're going to do the opposites with all of our highlighting. So I'm going to start off with the blue. And what I'm going to use is Whispering Turquoise. And we're going to do the highlight on the opposite side. Quite often I do my dry brushes in between here, and I may do a little bit on the house, the larger pieces, but for the most part when I do smaller pieces I very rarely do any additional dry brushing in them, unless, you know, I want to add a frosty look for snow or something like that. So we're going to get out our little shader. And starting with the Whispering Turquoise, we're going to start with the blue house. And my angle shader. So I'm going to turn my house over because, like I said, I pull my floats towards me. And we're going to start down here and we're going to pull up, highlight, with Whispering Turquoise. Such a pretty color. Kind of pops on the winter blue. And then, of course, just like shading, we're not going to do it once, we're going to do it twice, because that's what I do. We're going to come and we're going to highlight our quilt panels, the same, the opposite, with the blue, with the quilt panels. Except for under here, I'm going to leave that one because that's going to just get darker as we go. So you can see this is a larger piece. I want to have a little bit more interest, a little bit more dry brushing highlight. So I am, in this particular case, going to take another one of my dry brushes, a dry one at this point, pick up some of my Whispering Turquoise. And of course, same as before, wipe it off on a paper towel. And I'm just going to dry brush. Straight up and down. Just because I don't want it to look flat and boring. Just creates a little bit of something, a little highlight. Okay, so that is with the blue. And then for the red, again, same as we're going to go with Coral Shell. And we're going to highlight the opposite sides of everything that I did in the Coral Blush. Coral Blush, same thing. And then of course we mop, soften. And I'm going to come back and dry brush the house as well. We're going to do the quilt panels, the opposite sides. Okay, the opposite side of the little chimney, right here. And the birdie. The birdie gets the highlight on the top. Here he is, way up here. The top of his body. Okay. That's the bird. So that's everything in the red. And we're going to go to the green now. And used to use green tea. I loved green tea when they had it available, but they discontinued that one. So instead of using green tea and then like a lemonade or something is what I would normally do, I just go straight into the lemonade. And it basically gives me the same look. So you actually get to miss a step in the tree. Don't have to highlight twice. Actually you do, because we're going to add frosty bits. So lemonade. And the tree. I'm going to turn them upside down again for me. Where are you? There we go. Highlight. Tree. And other side of the tree. So. And then the green panels on the quilt. Highlight those. So that's it for the green. So now I'm going to go back to my dry brush quickly, and we're going to dry brush the house with the Coral Shell. I get a clean dry brush because you have to have tons of these things. A little Coral Shell. And just accentuate the house a little bit. A little bit of dry brushing. Yeah. And actually, you know what? While we have this coral blush, the cheeks are actually done. So we're going to go and pick up with the same dirty brush, because why not? We're going to get a little bit of coral blush back out. We're going to dry brush his cheeks. He needs cheeks, and we have the color out, so why not? So with the dirty Coral Shell blush, pick up a little bit of the coral blush, brush it out, and we're going to give him some nice roly-poly little cheeks. Work in a circular motion. Don't want it to be too dark. And there. Just like putting on your blush. Now he's got some cute little cheeks. And now we're going to highlight purple. So you can use wisteria or lilac. I misplaced my wisteria, so I use lilac or wisteria, it doesn't really matter. Both do exactly the same thing. And we're going to highlight all the purple. So on the outsides, first off, the top of the knot. There. Down the outer side of the scarf. Lots of purple when it's done this way. Then we're going to turn them over and we're going to highlight the other side here. See, all our imperfections from before are now gone. There. And while we're down here going this direction, we're going to do the quilt panels. Purple. Okay. Mop those out. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we're going to do the top of the hat right here. And we're going to start up here. We're going to work our way from the top down. We'll start. Where are you? There we are. Good Lord. Okay, so top of his little hat up here. There. Quick mop. If you're painting this and you're not watching the video, if you just go by my color photo, pretty much shows you everything, how I do it. Just follow the colors. If you're not too sure what side to shade on, just look at my pictures. There. I take my finger sometimes if I get something in there I don't want. And we're going to go up here. There. Pretty, hey? Okay. And then here. There. So that is the first float of all the purple, and the dry and the highlight with the purple. I'm going to go back to our trees, and I'm going to actually dry brush some of the tree because we're going to use the lemonade color twice. So another dry brush, another clean one. If you don't have that many and you want to mix them up and use the same one, just clean them with rubbing like hand sanitizer. I just have this basil package of sanitizer. I just keep them around. Your brush will dry a lot quicker if you just clean it with that. So my tree, just to add a little bit more depth to the right hand side. It basically replaces the green tea that I would have done. If you have green tea, use it. It's awesome. And, oops. And see, don't worry about that. If you get a little bit brighter, that's okay. It just works into the design. I'm not too worried about those. So finish that up. And then we're going to go back and we're going to do second level of shading. And that is the part that everybody hates, but I love it the most. So I'm going to clean my palette and get everything set up with my new dark colors, and we're going to go back for our second shading. I've got all my colors pulled, all my dark ones, so shading, but I just realized that we did actually miss highlighting the star and the moon, so I'm going to take buttermilk. I'm just going to do a quick highlight on those so they're not forgotten. Can't forget anything. Well, it's easy to do. Let's get a quick highlight on there. Buttermilk. So the moon. Moon. And star. Star. Oh, and the quilt panels. Panels also. Okay. So now we're going to do all our darks. So we're going to start with, of course, the blue. So we're going to use Prussian blue. So these colors are actually quite high in pigment, but very transparent. So that's why I like to use them, because the first color that we did use does actually work with it. It shows through a little bit. So when I do the blue on the house, you can see it makes a difference. Instead of just a flat color, it just seems to bring everything up because they are transparent. So blue, there, come up under the house, and where the snow is going to go, because I'm not worried about the snow. Isn't that pretty? And we might as well pop over here. Do the quilts while I wait for this to dry. 1, 2. And everything just starts to get a little bit brighter. Load my brush. I think we want to come in here. Underneath. Wash that in the other way as well, because more or less I wanted it as a wash underneath there. And now finish the house. Come down. Here. Good heavens, I have a hard time here. There it is. Seriously. Going backwards. Along the bottom. There. Mop it out. My towel. Especially when you're going from the blue to the other colors, you want to definitely make sure that your mop is good and clean. So you should have, sometimes I find it good to have a couple of them on the go as well. Now we're going to go into the Napa Red for the shading of all the red. Second shading. If you ever wondered why I shade everything twice, I think you're finding out now why I do. It just enhances the colors to what I like. So we're going to come down in the house. It just makes them pop. These colors alone don't do anything. They do require something underneath them to sort of let you see how vibrant they can be. The red. Quilt panels. Okay, and kitty, a little bird up here. Okay, a little birdie. Little winter bird. Very cute. Okay, we need to do the chimney here. And sometimes I just use the very little tip of the brush just to wash in just a hint of color. As long as you got water, it always moves around for you. I'm going to finish up under here. So that's the red. I'm going to go back up and just touch up under here again. So it's nice and dark. Then I will actually add a highlight to it afterwards. I just wanted it dark enough now. So the next color is black green, which we're going to do the trees and all the green. Bit of a muddy color, but it works now with the other colors that I've got under there. Alone again is very muddy. Yeah, let's see. Trees in there. Deepen the trees. And it brings the tree to life now too. See what else? Oh, we'll do the little panels, little quilt blocks, quilt panels, quilt blocks, whatever you want to call them. There. 1, 2. Okay, and I'm just going to come back and just do the bottoms of the trees. There's the trees. And back up to the moon and stars. And for that one, we are actually going to use burnt sienna. Burnt sienna. I'm going to shade our little star. Left-hand points. Highlights on the right, shading on the left. Usually when I do the small areas like that, I very gently mop. So otherwise I can smear the whole wash float right off. Here. And with the burnt sienna, after we do these, we're actually going to start on his nose. The same colors. Isn't that pretty? It's all starting to come to life. If you messed up your nose, you could do another color, but you really don't have to, because I'm just going to shade in the burnt sienna on the bottom, and it's going to cover the fact that the first coat wasn't always the best, or that I went over his nose a little bit. You can repair it if you think it needs to be repaired with another coat. Okay, that was fun. So now we're going to go back to the trees, turn them over, and we're going to do our final highlights. So the tree, I'm actually going to use a little bit of buttermilk on the tree, not a lot, just a little bit to highlight. Instead of doing another, lemonade, I can use buttermilk. Just to soften it up a little bit. If you think it's too light, you could just go back and do the lemonade if you want. The buttermilk actually just tones it down, just gives it a little bit of another tone to it. And also because it is going to be snowy when they're finished. So the snow has made them a little bit white. There. And buttermilk is also going to finish the green on the panels. Just a little highlight. And then let's see, what else should we do? Let's go to blue chiffon. We'll start our last highlights on everything. Buttermilk on the tree, and then blue chiffon is going to go on the blue house. It's funny, my stuff always looks so simple. Who knew it took so long to paint? It does. Okay, so blue chiffon to highlight. Blue chiffon to highlight the house. It's final. Okay, it just softens everything up that little bit. And then of course the quilt panels. Blue chiffon. Okay. Pink chiffon is what we're going to use for the pink. Pink chiffon. I chose these ones mostly because I wanted it to look like it was a little bit cold out. It's a snowy day, so it had to be cold. And the panels. Okay. And highlight the chimney there. And top the bird. Did anyone besides me forget that we needed to deepen the shading at the bottom of the bird? Or was it just me? So I'm going to fix that now. Birdie should have deepened underneath. Okay. We finished purple. I need to deepen the shading on the purple. And I bounced around a little bit. I forgot all about the purple. But that's okay. That's what, when you have so many colors on the go, that's what happens. So, dioxazine purple. Love this color. This is what we're going to deepen all the shading up in here with. We'll come down here. This brings this little scarf to life. And down at the bottom. Right in here. The only time I will pull a float straight is if I want a narrow solid float, which I wanted at the top of the head there. Otherwise their wash is pity patted. And here. I like how those little wrinkles start to take effect. Good. here. And I think we will come across the top here. Here. There. And I think we need to get over under here. Just like under here, we're going to make sure it gets a lot darker. So it's going to be 2 floats again. Just to allow it to get darker. And we're going to come down here to the quilt panels. 1, 2. Very repetitious, isn't it? It's getting boring. Repetitious. And 1 more float on the hat for now. Up here. Nice thing is though, we're almost done and we're almost ready to start doing all those fun little details that are going to bring this thing to life. Give it a little character. Make them look all frosty and wintry. Now I want this to get darker. Yeah, I think we're getting there. So give it a second to dry. What we're going to do is we're going to do our final highlight, which is going to be with soft heather on the hat. You could use pink chiffon. If you don't have soft heather, pink chiffon will do exactly the same thing, just a little different tone, that's all. So this side we started with first, so I'm going to do my highlight up here. Just makes it look so soft, frosty, cold. It's like he's covered in a little layer of frost. First one. And we're going to bounce around. We're going to come up here. And let's see. We'll have to work from the top down this time so that we don't go over any of our shading. Okay. So we're going to start here. Actually, up here. Right here. We're going to start up here. There, for the top. Mop it out. And then, that's better. Do our highlight up here. See how frosty he's starting to look? Isn't that cool? Looks starting to look like he's cold. Here. And let's see, what else have we done? Aha. Come over here. Up here. then we're going to come and do this one. Actually, I'm going to highlight a little bit more here. Better. And then this last one here. Whoa, pretty bad. Okay. And then I think we just need to throw the little highlights on the opposite side for his quilt. And we'll put those in now. There. Yeah, cool. So already starting to see like a little bit of depth in there. And let's see what's it. Oh, we should highlight the nose. Nose needs highlighting. Tree is highlighted. Everything else is highlighted except for the nose. And the nose is going to be highlighted with mustard seed. I didn't see the point in dragging out a whole bunch of colors for the nose. So we'll just do them in mustard seed. Very two simple colors. Mustard seed. And we're just going to enhance his nose. Just a little highlight up there. Ah. So that's all our shading. Now we're going to get everything cleaned and put away and start on all our little details.